Calaroga Shark Media.
From Washington, D.C., where we're going to be 200 feet underwater, this is Ballot.
That's right, and I was just about to buy the Obama's beach house. Oops, let's hit this. Well, scientists have some fun news about our planet's ice sheets. And by fun, I mean terrifying. A new study says Earth might already be too hot to keep our polar ice from melting. Apparently, even if we hit that famous 1.5 degrees Celsius target everyone's been talking about, the ice sheets are still going to peace out faster than a millennial at a job they don't like. 10 years ago, world leaders got together and said, 1.5 degrees of warming, that's our limit, problem solved. Turns out that was about as accurate as saying, I'll just have one cookie. Professor Chris Stokes from Durham University basically said there was a misunderstanding that 1.5 degrees would solve our problems. The real safe number? About 1 degree Celsius. And where are we now? 1.2 degrees. So we've already blown past the actual safety zone. It's like finding out the speed limit was actually 10 miles per hour lower than the sign said. But you've already been caught on camera. These ice sheets in Greenland and Antarctica, they're not messing around. Together they hold enough ice to raise sea levels by 210 feet. 210 feet! That's not sea level rise, that's sea level elevator service to the 20th floor. They're currently losing 370 billion metric tons of ice every year. Billion with a B. That's quadruple what it was in the 1990s. Remember the 90s? When our biggest concern was Y2K and whether Ross and Rachel would end up together? To figure out how bad this could get, scientists looked back at the last time Earth was this warm. About 125,000 years ago. Back then, Neanderthals were having pool parties in northern Europe. Mammoths were taking vacations to the Arctic, and sea levels were 25 feet higher than today. They found ancient coral reefs 25 feet above where the ocean is now. That's not a coral reef, that's a coral penthouse. The computer models are showing some pretty grim stuff. Professor Andrea Dutton from the University of Wisconsin said, we can't just adapt to this type of sea level rise. We can't just engineer our way out of this. Oh, great. So my plan of everyone getting stilts isn't going to work? About 230 million people currently live within 3 feet of sea level. That's a lot of people who might need to update their addresses to Atlantis, formerly known as Miami. The Pacific Islands, like Micronesia, and some Caribbean islands are going to get hit especially hard because of gravitational effects. Gravitational effects! Even gravity is picking sides now. Professor Stokes called it an existential threat and said some entire states will be underwater in a few centuries. Entire states! We're not talking about losing a beach house here. We're talking about state capitals becoming submarine tours. So maybe you don't want to spend nearly $40 million on Obama's beach house. Barack Obama's former summer vacation spot on Martha's Vineyard is up for sale, and it'll only cost you $39 million. That's right, for the price of roughly 12,708 Ivy League college educations. You too can own the place where a president once complained about his Wi-Fi connection. The 30-acre property, known as Blue Heron Farm, is currently owned by Sir Norman Foster, a British architect famous for designing London landmarks like the Gherkin High Rise and Wembley Stadium. When Foster bought the place in 2011 for $22 million, he apparently thought, this nice New England estate is missing something. I know, a contemporary pool house. Because nothing says colonial charm like ultra-modern poolside architecture. The Obamas stayed at this Chillmark property during Barack's first term, choosing it for what real estate brokerage Corcoran called its incredible privacy, serenity, and significance. Translation: it's far enough away from everyone else that you can practice your dance moves without ending up on TikTok. To put the price tag in perspective, the median home price on Martha's Vineyard in March was $1.7 million. In Chillmark specifically, it was $2.3 million. So this property is basically 17 average Chillmark homes stacked on top of each other in a trench coat. The main house spans 7,000 square feet and features a wraparound porch perfect for sipping lemonade while contemplating how you afforded a $39 million vacation home. There's also a guest house with 5 bedrooms for all those friends who suddenly remember how close you were back in college once you buy this place. Other amenities include staff housing, because who doesn't have staff? A 150-year-old barn that was relocated from Pennsylvania, as barns often are, a waterfront boathouse, a tennis court, and equestrian riding rings. It's basically a luxury summer camp for adults who wear boat shoes unironically. Martha's Vineyard has long been a celebrity hotspot. Spike Lee has a house in Oak Bluffs, and Bill Clinton also summered on the island. It's located 16 miles off Cape Cod, which is just far enough that the common folk can't swim there.
What happens when one of the most powerful men in music is accused of some of the most serious crimes imaginable? Check out the new podcast, Did He Do It? Following the federal sex crimes trial of Sean Diddy Combs, coming to you straight from New York City. Every day I'll take you inside the courtroom where prosecutors say Combs ran a criminal enterprise of sex trafficking, coercion, and abuse, using his fame, fortune, and influence to silence victims and control lives. We'll cover the big stories and the small moments that can shift the verdict. The trial has begun. The questions are piling up, and every day we'll be asking the same thing. Did he do it? Follow now wherever you get your podcasts.
Tired of doom scrolling? Want news that won't make you want to live in a bunker? Check out 5 Good News Stories, where they find the silver lining in a world that's usually lined with something much less pleasant. The gang at 5 Good News Stories dig through the headlines to find 5 stories that prove humanity hasn't completely lost its mind. It's pretty much the opposite of this show. From scientific breakthroughs nobody's talking about to random acts of kindness that restore your faith in humanity, all delivered with the cutting wit you deserve. 5 Good News Stories, because sometimes the news doesn't have to suck. Subscribe to 5 Good News Stories wherever you get your podcasts. Archaeologists in Naples just opened a 2,000-year-old sarcophagus, which is either the start of a fascinating scientific discovery or the opening scene of every mummy movie ever made. Let's hope they at least watched The Mummy as part of their research preparation. The team, led by Simona Formola, was investigating the tomb of Cerberus in Giuliano, which is in northwest Naples. Apparently, they liked what they saw enough to break the seal that had remained intact for 2 millennia. That's right, they looked at something that had been sealed for the 2,000 years and thought, yeah, let's crack this baby open. Once inside, they were shocked to find a body in an excellent state of preservation. I'm not sure what else they expected to find in a sarcophagus. Pizza, Jimmy Hoffa, the lost city of Atlantis? The deceased was found lying face up, covered by a shroud, surrounded by ointment jars and body cleaning tools. Essentially, it was the ancient Roman equivalent of being buried with your toiletry bag. The special treatment and fancy burial goods suggest this person was the VIP family member for whom the mausoleum was originally built. You know you're important when your family builds an entire tomb just for you. Today, we're lucky if our relatives remember our birthdays. It turns out the mummy coincidentally had been college roommates with Joe Biden. Portions of today's show were made with the help of mummies, more mummies and AI.
You know the silhouette, the squint, the voice that cuts like a blade. Clint Eastwood isn't just a movie star. He's a myth, a mayor, a cultural fault line, and maybe the last great American icon. Eastwood Reloaded tells his story one chapter at a time. The hits, the flops, the chaos between the scenes. Because legends aren't born, they're built. Eastwood Reloaded. Listen now wherever you get your podcasts.